Hey guys, welcome to day 9 of my 365-day challenge to get 1 million or more subscribers. So today I wanted to talk about purpose. That's the purpose of today's video. And hopefully we can nail the coffin on life's search for purpose. So if you're watching this video, it's probably because you are searching for someone to help you find out what your life's purpose is. And I'm not going to teach you how to do that on this video, but what I hope to do is to give you some comfort in not knowing or not having a life purpose. I don't want to say silly or absurd or naive, but I think that there are many reasons why we feel like we have to search for some life purpose. But whatever those reasons are, and I can explain to you what my reasons were for that, my entire adult life, I think that it's perfectly fine and healthy and possibly an optimal way to go without assigning or having a stated life purpose. And hopefully, I will leave you, by the way, at the end of somewhere in this video with 3 things that I think will help you. But at the very least, I hope that nobody watching this is going to go out and pay a lot of money for a seminar or conference or online courses or books that purportedly, I shouldn't use that word. Andrew Tate uses that word all the time. That profess to somehow help you uncover your life's purpose, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because as you'll find out, that thinking about it and even doing all of this, going through these questions and answers and workbooks and whatever it is, it's just another form of thinking, right? On your computer screen or on paper. Thinking is not going to give you the answers. If it would have, you wouldn't be watching this or another similar video. So I've taken some notes, I've done some research, and I hope you don't mind if I'll be referring to my research, and I don't like the idea of always staring at the camera. You know, as I'm finding out here on this YouTube or social media journey, that we're told to keep staring at the camera, at the viewer. And so in doing so, we have to prepare all this research and almost put them on teleprompters right next to the camera lens. And it's ridiculous to me, because if you were sitting with a friend, you wouldn't be staring at them directly all the time. So anyhow, I want this to be more of a discussion and a fact-finding mission. If you like, you can play my videos while you're relaxing on your sofa or getting something to eat or driving. So I understand that having a life purpose, a stated life purpose, it sounds comforting, right? It allows us to be less worried, less nervous, and more at ease. I remember, for the last 25 years, I've been frantically searching for a purpose, but I know that it's because of my life circumstances. I didn't have I don't think I had many options. I had to make money quickly at a young age. And then when you get into that track, you're kind of not pigeonholed, but you're on the train tracks, and it becomes very difficult to change as you progress further through life. And so I wasn't able to experience a lot of different things that I wanted to. And I bet it's getting a lot more difficult right now for younger people. I know that younger men and women, up to the age of 30 or something like this, are still living with their parents. I don't know what the statistics are, but they're very significant. So we I didn't have the freedom and the optionality that would have allowed me to experiment or experience so many different things and find out what I liked and what I didn't like. And as you'll find, that is the key to not needing a stated purpose and finding the things that you should be doing by taking action. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So I was always searching for that, buying books and doing all this research and all of these questions and answers, and I never got the right answer, and because of that, I was always frustrated, and I thought that something was wrong with me. But now I know that that's not the case. It's ridiculous, and it's perfectly normal and all right, and it's actually unusual for somebody to have a purpose that they stick with lifelong. It's naive because you don't know who you're going to be in the future. A lot about you is going to change. So I know that some people right now watching this may feel deeply unsettled coming to this because they don't have this life purpose that they're searching for. So it's all right. There's actually there's a lot of scholars and thinkers right now that are saying that the pressure to find or declare a life purpose itself becomes a source of anxiety or dissatisfaction or inauthenticity. So that's pretty interesting, and that's so true, because for me, this search for a life purpose, what should I be doing? What should I do with my life? I looked all around me and saw people seem to be happy, seem to be excelling at what they were doing and loving it. And for me, I was successful, but I didn't really enjoy what I was doing. It just paid the bills, and it looked good socially, outwardly, but it was very unfulfilling. So, but when we look at others, it seems like everyone's got it all figured out except us. So that was a source of anxiety for me. I was researching today, and I found a video on YouTube by a guy named Sam Malta. You can look him up on YouTube. He has a very, very interesting video, and if you want, he'll teach you how to find a life purpose. I'm laughing because I told you just a little while ago I was kind of making fun at these exercises, but he is actually doing it the right way, because he does encourage the right things, which action is a big part of it. So I strongly recommend you watch his video. He actually, I think he coined the term the purpose fallacy. So, and he says that it's the mistaken belief that clarity of purpose must precede meaningful action for happiness. He calls it a trap, where you believe that if you could simply gain clarity on exactly where you want to go and what you want to do, that everything will fall into place. Those are his words verbatim. And so it's called the purpose fallacy, right? It's like thinking your way into what you should be doing, which is ridiculous. And you'll find that it makes sense, it's common sense when you hear it, that action, by trying things out and getting feedback, is how we learn about ourselves and what we want to do and what we don't want to do. So I want to note briefly that in some cases there's this struggle to find a clear life purpose. It overlaps with psychological conditions. So like in depression, many people lose motivation and feel like life is pointless, or have a constant sense of hopelessness. And for others, they could have an existential crisis or a period of transition or major life change that brings similar feelings. So that can kind of shake your beliefs and your identity and your sense of direction. And then there's personality disorders I've been finding out, that where people experience identity confusion, it's called. and it makes it difficult for them to know who they are or what they want. So maybe those are special cases, but even then, they can benefit from what I'm saying today. So just really simply, I would recommend 3 things. And then I'll continue on to kind of note what some famous philosophers philosophers have said in the past. So the first thing I recommend is to take it easy and remind yourself it's okay not to have it all figured out. Many people don't have it all figured out. And you're not broken, you're not behind, you don't have to compare yourself against others. And not feeling like you have a purpose, it's a normal part of the human condition. It's absolutely normal. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know, but it's absolutely normal. So take it easy. And second, I would say allow the feelings. So instead of fighting the discomfort or emptiness, let yourself feel whatever it is you're feeling physically without panicking. And get comfortable with living with these feelings. So, I mean, over the years, especially early on, I may have felt frustrated and stressed. And I don't know, there must have been many other feelings that I felt. And I wish somebody was there to give me this sort of advice. Instead, all I found was endless advertisements and books about exercises and just millions of little questions and graphs and charts and things like this. It was just nonsense. It was just thinking out on paper, just another way of thinking. And it's because they can make money doing that. And today there's a lot of seminars and conferences. I get the ads every day on YouTube. Famous people, self-help, motivating personalities that they want to make money. So, and they'll even offer these free seminars. There's nothing free under the sun. Why are they doing this? I mean, are they really altruistic? You get there and then they're going to sell you on something else. Before that, they were charging thousands of dollars to help you live with passion and find meaning and purpose. It's ridiculous. I hope nobody pays $1 to answer these kinds of questions that only you yourself can know by taking action and experiencing and receiving the feedback. You take actions, you get consequences. Sam Malta talks about that in a very nice way. You act, you see the consequences of your actions. If something works, if you like it, you do more of it. If something is wrong or doesn't work for you, then you stop doing it. But you need to do it and do it for a certain duration. I know that from my experience, I did try a lot of different things, but I didn't give them enough effort for a long enough amount of time. So I try something for a few days or one day, and then if it didn't work out the way I wanted or I didn't get immediate results, I would just scrap it and move on to something else. But that's clearly not enough. So in order to experience a certain path, you have to give it a minimum amount of time. Sam says at least 21 days. That makes sense because I think 21 days is the amount of time it takes to develop a habit. I don't know how that's related, but you have to give it time. Whatever it is that you're trying out or experimenting with, whether it's a job, a hobby, an interest you have, or it could be, what does he discuss? He talks about instincts. So you have a thought or a feeling about doing something, you take action on it, and then look for the consequences, get the feedback. So we said take it easy, allow the feelings, and then take small actions. Just three things, very simple. Take it easy. Allow the feelings, take small actions. So I could say a little more on that. Take actions based on your personal values. So do things that feel worthwhile or interesting. And purpose often emerges through action, definitely not through thinking and waiting. You know that better than anyone. The interesting thing is, actually, there was another interesting thing I found, is by looking at it from the other extreme, that there are some people that thrive by living in the present, by acting on curiosity, whim, or immediate values, rather than a fixed overarching purpose. So they're doing the exact opposite of someone having a purpose or looking for a purpose. And then for these individuals, the search for purpose may feel artificial or constraining, and life can be rich and meaningful without a singular or stated aim. So that's very interesting when you look at the exact opposite of where you're standing. Someone in the exact opposite position or view or perspective on this than the one you or I have right now. It's like having a purpose for them is very limiting, it's constraining, and it's artificial. So that was so eye-opening, so interesting for me when I thought about it like that. It definitely, I think if I heard that 10, 20, 25 years ago, it would have brought a lot of relief for me. So embracing uncertainty, ambiguity, and even purposelessness is seen as a courageous and authentic way to live. And that makes a lot of sense. I think that when you have strength and courage, you probably don't need to have things like purpose or meaning. I think that when we feel weak, or we're in a weakened state or position or circumstances internally, then we need to look for things like this, right? Remember, these are like emotional crutches. These are coping mechanisms. I think they are. So, but when there is strength and courage, we don't need anything like this. Just remember that. There's a few philosophers that I want to mention, three of them, that said something interesting about this. There is a philosopher called Jean-Paul Sartre, and he said, he has this phrase, existence precedes essence. So it means that we exist first and define ourselves through our actions and choices, not by adhering to a preordained purpose. So we exist first and define ourselves through our actions and choices, not by adhering to a preordained, predefined purpose. Another philosopher, Albert Camus, very famous philosopher, in his book, he wrote a book called The Myth of Sisyphus. It's a terrific short read. And he argues that life has no inherent purpose, and one can live authentically by embracing this absurdity. He calls it an absurdity. You should read his book. It's really fantastic. Without resorting to quote unquote philosophical suicide, which means adopting a false purpose. So that's important, because a lot of the time when we're thinking our way through this, we adopt a false purpose. Because I can't see how, I certainly never came to the right answer by thinking my way through it. It just doesn't work. How could you get feedback? How could you see what the consequences are of trying something out? Thinking does not give you the answers you need. Action does. Going out there, acting in the world, trying things out, getting that feedback, the input, and then figuring out what to do from there. So those are false purposes. And finally, Alan Watts, I think his videos are all over YouTube, so I think he's very, very well known. Popular philosopher. He also popularized the idea of purposelessness. And he suggests that genuine action often arises from spontaneity and lack of goal orientation, and that embracing purposelessness can lead to creativity and authenticity. This sounds great, and it's true. So we can live without a purpose by being present in our lives, living in the present. And no matter how messy or uncertain or directionless it can be, there's a lot of possibility, and it's rich in detail. So I want to just kind of reiterate these three things that I said before in a little different ways. So first, you don't have to reach a final destination. There may never be a final destination for you. For any of us, for me. And life can be meaningful even without a clear endpoint or a mission. You can live a meaningful life, a fulfilling life, without a mission, without an endpoint or a target. And second, make peace with uncertainty. Learn to coexist with not knowing. And finally, act anyway. Do things that feel valuable, even if you can't explain why. Help someone, build something, express yourself. Life unfolds through action, not just introspection. So there you have it. That's my final go at purpose. And I hope I never have to revisit this again. And I hope that nobody pays for this information ever, or any type of help to find their purpose. It's all online, it's all free. If you want some small nuggets, I definitely recommend you check out the YouTube video for the gentleman I mentioned before. And watch out for day number 10. Take care.